Game Pass runs $14.99 per month or $180 per year. But is Game Pass actually worth the time and money? Let's find out. Hey, I'm Sam with Busy Dad Gaming. I help busy dads with all things Xbox so they can relax and go back to their families recharged. Before we dive into today's video on more of a personal note, yesterday was kind of like a very bittersweet day. We had, on one hand, on the sweet side, my daughter just turned 1, so she's pretty much running the house at this point. And then on more of the bitter side, we put my cat down. So a very interesting day. So I may not have like super high energy, but not super low energy. I want to make sure the video is very engaging for you, but also wanted to make sure that you understood why the video may not be as high amp energy as it potentially normally would have been. So when Game Pass was originally announced, it was met with a certain level of trepidation. And would a Netflix-style approach to video games actually work like it did in the movie industry? Now, although Game Pass was originally announced, I think it was like in 2016, 2017, somewhere in that range, it wasn't really until 2018 when they started announcing that first-party titles would come day and date that Game Pass really started to gain some momentum. Now, I've been part of Game Pass ever since the beta, and I'm going to chime in whether or not I feel that it's actually of value to you and whether or not the program is actually going to be worth its price of admission. So what exactly is Game Pass? So Game Pass is a service from Microsoft that you just pay a monthly subscription fee for, and then you get access to all the games on that particular service. Now, there are 3 different tiers for this service. So you have the console version, you have the PC version, and you have the ultimate version. Now, for the console version, you're looking at basically you pay $9.99 per month, and you can play any of the games on the console for that particular subscription cost. Now, you're also getting access to Xbox's first-party games day and date, and you're getting a discount on all the games that are provided in that particular service. Now, this is the exact same thing when it comes to the PC version. So console and PC is basically just breaking out the 2 different platforms, and it gets you the exact same things regardless of which side is either console or PC. Now, when it comes to the ultimate version, you're basically looking at $14.99 per month or $180 per year, and that's getting you access to both console and PC. Now, it does come with some added benefits in addition to those. So you're also getting access to game streaming, you get access to Xbox Gold, and you also get access to EA Play. So a lot of the EA Play games that you may or may not have been having access to before, you would get part of the Ultimate package. So Game Pass Ultimate is the most ideal version unless you're only looking at like specific games that you want to go ahead and test out either on console or PC. But ultimately, Ultimate, no pun intended, is the best version of Game Pass. So now that we know what Game Pass is, what are some of the games that you can actually look forward to playing on Game Pass as it stands today? So some of the games you're going to be looking at is like Edge of Eternity just recently came out. You also had Rainbow Six Extraction. Death's Door is an amazing game. I definitely suggest checking that one out. Crossfire X Operation Catalyst just came out, but I wouldn't recommend playing that campaign. That's kind of a hot mess right now. You also get access to things like the Hitman trilogy, A Way Out, different things like Origami 2. I've really enjoyed that game. Back 4 Blood. So if you're a big fan of Left 4 Dead. So those are plenty of games on just the console side of things. But if you're looking at the PC side, you also had Total War Warhammer 3, Edge of Eternity again, if you want to play that more on the PC side of things. Hitman Trilogy is also on the PC, so that's something to take into account. You also have Age of Empires 1 through 4 if you're really big into real-time strategy games. So there are a ton of games to play across this service, and that's not even getting into EA Play, where you can basically play all the Battlefield games. You can play all the Madden games or FIFA, you know, all these different kind of games. There's a ton of games across both of these services, and if you have Ultimate, then you get access to all of them all at once. Now, coming at this from a dad's perspective, is Game Pass actually worth it to you? In my personal opinion, yes, very much so. Whether you have a Series S or a Series X, and in many cases even a PC, Game Pass is worth the price of admission. You're looking at Game Pass running $180 per month for the Ultimate version, and you only buy 3 games. That's just $60 a piece. Game Pass just paid for itself. So if you're looking at Microsoft first-party exclusives and there's 3 games that are coming out within a particular year, it's already paid for itself. And that's not taking into account all the different games that are coming and going and the discounts that you get on all those different games. Now, that also brings us to the question of where is Game Pass actually going over the long term? And this is something where we want to look at the film industry as kind of like a benchmark of what that potentially could look like. So originally you had Blockbuster that was kind of like the behemoth in the rental space for movies. You'd walk into a Blockbuster, you'd rent a VHS, and assuming you returned it on time, that's pretty much what you were looking at until you had Netflix come into the equation, where originally they started out just shipping out DVDs and you just paid for a subscription service. And Blockbuster kind of adopted that over time, where they were just doing a subscription service and you come and go, rent the VHSs or DVDs over time. That's what you were looking at. But then Netflix took a shift and went purely online and started streaming. And that's kind of where Game Pass is getting to, where right now you can go and rent essentially the games that are on the particular service and you can play them to your heart's content. Now Game Pass is starting, if you're part of Ultimate, to move into cloud streaming. And this is where I think Game Pass is really starting to expand, where assuming they can get their apps on the various TVs, and if Microsoft does make a dongle for those TVs that don't take advantage of the, an apps ecosystem, then you're starting to look at Xbox going, or I should say Microsoft in this case, going and buying these different publishers. So things like Bethesda and most recently Activision Blizzard, it expands the overall type of games and the expandability of all the different people that they're potentially able to reach via streaming. So whether they have an app for a TV or a dongle for a TV or a console or a phone or a tablet or whatever, then they're able to get Game Pass to stream and to get more people into Xbox than ever before. I think that's ultimately where Xbox is getting to, where it's not only going to be hardware. Now, this is something Sony is starting to dive into as well, and I'm seeing where Sony is starting to dive more into streaming services, and where they just bought Bungie, that's also where they're starting to dive into more games as a service. So they're starting to expand more into those different areas to get more expertise. So there was more of kind of like an acqui-hire, not necessarily hiring for, or not hiring, but doing an acquisition for the IP, and more so doing it for the infrastructure that was delivered. So I do feel that Microsoft is taking things to a different level when it comes to Game Pass, and they're trying to expand it beyond just a console construct. Whether it remains to be seen if that is a successful endeavor, we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But overall, it is driving a lot of innovation in the overall industry. Ultimately, Game Pass is a great value, regardless whether kind of console, PC, streaming, whatever. $14.99 is a great deal, especially considering if you have a console, it also comes with Xbox Gold. So overall, if you have not tried Game Pass, I definitely suggest checking it out. I think they have a deal going for it's like $1 for a month. Sometimes they even have it where it's $1 for 90 days. And if you're doing the Microsoft Rewards program, if you're doing all the rewards, you can technically end up getting Game Pass Ultimate for free on a monthly basis. So my personal opinion, Game Pass is one of the best values in gaming. I hope it ends up gaining more traction over time, and we actually see the streaming platform get more mature and come as close as possible to the physical hardware, but time will remain to be seen on that. Now, if you're still on the fence of what kind of Xbox to go after, make sure to check out my playlist. I go over all the different things for the One X, the Series S, the Series X, and all the different options in between. And if you do have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments below, and I'll see you over there.